An official wrap to the season on Monday with Travis Green and Steve Staios meeting with the media for their end-of-season press conference. Multiple topics discussed on Monday, but first a look back on the season and the goal of making the playoffs.
I believe our team took a good step forward this season. I've said it before, but it's just the first step. Earned the right to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs, a necessary step, I think, in our growth. When I talk about improvement, I think it's both on and off the ice. To a man, they all improved. I mean, to their credit, and to Travis, has the ability to get the best out of these players. So that's one way I think that we can continue to improve as a team. And then, I think the experience also of this season and the way that we played should lend to some confidence for our group moving into next year.
As far as improving, we've taken a step. Internally, I thought our players improved not only from over last summer, but the course of the season. I think it's important that we continue to improve, though, that it's not status quo, that as coaches, as an organization, we push our players to have a growth mindset of getting better. And how you left today isn't going to be acceptable if you just come back the same. I think a lot of our players are in that age group where they still have room to grow as players.
One area of growth this season also highlighted by both Staios and Green were the struggles the team went through in November, but battling through that, showing resiliency and character in doing so to eventually get into a playoff spot.
I think there's always a point where everything comes to a head, and that was probably one of those points, if not the point, because I think there's a lot of hope with our group coming into the season. They were playing some pretty good hockey, and it was almost a little bit of panic setting in with our group, and a lot of here we go again. That happens a little bit when you play in a Canadian market because you can't get away from it, and a little bit of a coming to with our group, where we've done a lot of talking about things, but now you've got to really look in the mirror and learn fast and quickly, and I'd like to think that the way we approach things with our group is, as a process, helped us through that time.
I think it speaks to the character of the group, the character of the individuals. I believe that the veterans that added to this group have that experience, and it goes far beyond what Travis or I could say to them to help them through it. But there's players there that have gone through it, and the conversations, whether it's in between periods or before games or on the bus, having some calming influence in and around this group to help them grow. But ultimately, it's the character of the group.
Shifting gears now to the off-season discussion for the Sens, overall a theme of managing both internal growth within the organization versus external growth and going out and getting help from outside the organization. One specific area touched upon today in that regard was 5-on-5 scoring, looking to improve at that going into next season.
That continues to be an area, but I think that's internal as well. And 5-on-5, yeah, I think that I think that there's things, and Travis can touch on it as well. I think that there's going to be some growth in that area. I think, with the group we have returning, there's some areas that I'm going to look at. But as we've talked about before, I mean, the market will sort of dictate on if you can add those types of players or improve in that area. And until you find that opportunity, it has to come from within.
And that's not the only aspect we're going to look to improve as coaches. We'll do a deep dive into all parts of our game, and 5-on-5 scoring will be one of them. But we'll look at every part of our game. It's easier said than done just to score 5-on-5, but I do think it's an area that we can improve in.
Staios also would not disclose what the team will do with their first-round pick this year, whether they do keep it or not, but he did say that a decision has been made on what to do with their first-round pick. He also discussed the outlook going into this year's draft.
We have good scouts. I think they've proven along the way that they can find talent. So every draft year you go into it, and people say the drop-off's at 12, and then there's a group of this or that. But I trust in our group.
Some other news from today as well. Both Shane Pinto and Nikolas Matinpalo will represent their respective countries at the World Championships coming up in Sweden. And Matinpalo signing a 2-year contract extension today with the Sens, a well-rewarded contract for a player who put up some strong minutes with the team throughout the entirety of the season. Thanks for tuning in, Sens fans, all year long. More to come in the offseason, kicking things off in a couple of weeks' time with the scouting meetings right here from CTC. For Sens 360, I'm Jackson Starr.